Welcome back to Sportsbet News. It is a massive day at the Journo Tribunal. Our man on the spot is Hammy Goodman. What's the latest at AFL headquarters?
Thanks, Tony. A busy day down here as three of the AFL media's biggest names face the music.
Hello, I'm Janine Perrott. Welcome to Media Watch. You'll recall last week we brought you the damning story of 3 Nine journalists compromising themselves by doing ads for gambling firm Sportsbet, including Age reporter Sam McClure.
This saw the panel hand down their harshest punishment of the evening, a cameo in a corporate bookmaker's social content.
Obviously, I'll be appealing. How Tom Brand gets off and I don't leaves more questions than answers, I think. Is my face blurred?
When we pointed out the shocking conflict, given Sam has written about gambling in the AFL, it was brushed off by management as nothing more than a bit of a mix-up, leading us to ask, is there no shame or even concern? Well, now there is, with the Age acting editor Michael Bachelard delivering a fulsome public apology online.
By agreeing to participate in the Sportsbet advertisement, he made a serious error. That he paid his fee to a charity does not mitigate the error. For a journalist to spruik the business of a company he has also written about is a clear conflict of interest and unacceptable.
We certainly thought so, which is why we had contacted all the journos and their bosses beforehand for comment. So why was such a serious error ever called a bit of a mix-up by Executive Editor Tory Maguire? Well, to his credit, Bachelard tackled that as well.
This was not an attempt to excuse bad decisions, rather to explain that the responsibility in this instance did not fall entirely on one young reporter. I would like to apologise sincerely to our subscribers for the breach of trust involved.
So good on Michael Bachelard for accepting responsibility, but it doesn't excuse the bumbling Nine management who took so long to react. And if it was a serious and unacceptable error for McClure to appear in the ad, what of Nine's Tony Jones and Damien Barrett who were alongside him? Or does trust and owning up to mistakes only apply to Nine's newspapers, where, as Bachelard admitted, it's been a busy week?
Which brings me to another source of shame in the past week, the controversy over the publication of the Andrew Hornery private Sydney column about actor Rebel Wilson.
Shame indeed. We've almost lost count of the apologies and apologies for apologies coming out of The Age and the Herald after that narky gossip column blew up around the world.
The Sydney Morning Herald published an op-ed.
A journalist with the Sydney Morning Herald.
A columnist for the Sydney Morning Herald.
Even Whoopi Goldberg joined the Hollywood pile-on over the Herald's treatment of Aussie actress Rebel Wilson.
If you didn't want to do it, you shouldn't have done it. You knew exactly what you were doing.
It is her news. It is her business. It is, guess what? Her effing life.
And they did this to get clicks, to make headlines, to have people visit their website and read that paper. And to me, that is absolutely disgusting.
So what was all the fuss about? Well, in case you've been under a rock, it was all to do with Rebel's new love.
With a heartfelt post, Rebel says, I thought I was searching for a Disney prince, but maybe what I really needed this time was a Disney princess.
Good news for Rebel, bad news for the gossip columnist hoping to break the story to readers, with Andrew Hornery taking to print to tell about the one that got away.
PS erred on the side of caution and emailed Rebel Wilson's representatives on Thursday morning, giving her 2 days to comment on her new relationship with another woman, LA designer Ramona Agruma, before publishing a single word.
This was seen as a threat to out Wilson, but with Wilson's decision to make the announcement herself, Hornery used his column to vent.
Wilson opted to gazump the story, considering how bitterly Wilson complained about poor journalism standards when she successfully sued Woman's Day for defamation. Her choice to ignore PS's discreet, genuine and honest queries was, in our view, underwhelming.
Readers were also underwhelmed. The backlash on social media was furious, calling for Hornery's head and forcing SMH editor Bevan Shields to pen this defence Sunday afternoon.
To say that the Herald outed Wilson is wrong. We simply asked questions and, as standard practice, included a deadline for a response. I had made no decision about whether or what to publish.
It was just one in a series of missteps and media mismanagement, with Hornery and Shields, at last count, giving 4 separate, differing explanations, justifications and apologies over the space of 4 days. By Monday afternoon, Hornery was back in print with a new column expressing regret.
I have learnt some new and difficult lessons from this and want to be upfront with you about the things I got wrong. I understand why my email has been seen as a threat. The framing of it was a mistake.
At that point, the original column was dumped from the site. So was that the end of the shambles? Well, no, because next day, Shields was having another crack at an apology and now saying the initial column
should not have been published, and that is ultimately on me as editor. For that, I apologise to Wilson and anyone offended by it.
And adding,
I should have also acknowledged our mistakes.
For almost 3 decades at the Herald, Hornery has managed to successfully survive the notoriously treacherous gossip column round, often with aplomb and smart writing. While Shields is a newcomer to the editor's chair, having taken the top job in November, and he's already had his share of criticism from some in the newsroom. A newsroom which, we should point out, is in the midst of protracted negotiations over a pay deal. On Monday, one SMH reporter took the extraordinary step of blasting an all-staff email from an anonymous account.
When I started at the Herald, I felt proud to work for a masthead that had such a wonderful reputation. That reputation is slowly being eroded each day as the paper makes seemingly inexplicable editorial decisions. Our reputation is trashed.
Shields and Tori Maguire then addressed newsroom staff at an emotional meeting on Tuesday night in an attempt to head off any further staff revolt. Meanwhile, 2 former SMH editors threw in their 2 cents worth. Peter Fray and Eric Beecher using their own publication last week to school the new editor, warning of the paper's descent towards the gutter.
Great newspapers don't just not publish stories like this. Their owners, editors and reporters don't even think about publishing them. They are the clickbait and bilge water of journalism. This story is primarily a failure of leadership, of the editorial and commercial custodians who seem to misunderstand what the SMH actually stands for.
All in all, it's been a very public and damaging lesson in how to handle mistakes in the modern media era, as a couple of veteran spin doctors told ABC Melbourne last week.
It was death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
You know, we don't think we did anything wrong. Oh, hang on, yes, we did. Oh, we're going to retract it.
I have said this to clients, like, if you are going to bury this body, like, let's just bury it once.
Good advice. But to avoid more blunders requiring humiliating apologies, Nine is going to need a lot more editorial oversight and executive accountability. And now to political renewal in the West.
Australian cricketing legend Justin Langer could soon lead the Liberals in Western Australia, with party members revealing they're planning to recruit him. Party insiders say they've approached Langer several times and are trying to convince him to run in 2025.
Yes, that the former cricket great was going to take the reins of a busted political party and storm to victory was all the talk last Sunday, with this exclusive in Perth's Sunday Times.
Just what Libs need. Secret plan to convince cricket legend to bring party back from dead and lead it to WA election.
And inside the paper, we learnt more about
Operation Get Langer.
According to the paper, Liberal insiders had confirmed a secret plan to recruit Langer to lead the WA Liberal Party to the next state election. And for good measure, one Liberal insider was offering up some juicy quotes.
There have been several approaches to Justin. If Liberals can get Justin, then Christmas has happened.
Salvation for a party decimated by Mark McGowan's Labor juggernaut, which is why the story was soon making national news on radio and TV.
Former Australian cricketer Justin Langer is being targeted by the WA Liberal Party to help them rebuild ahead of the next election. He's been approached several times to run in the seat of Cottesloe at the state election in 2025. It's hoped Langer will help repair the party's reputation both in WA and nationally.
But there was one thing missing from the Sunday morning coverage. What did the man at the centre of all this excitement have to say about his new political career? Well, strangely nothing, or at least nothing new, because all we got in the Sunday Times exclusive were recycled quotes from 12 years ago.
In 2010, shortly after retiring from cricket, Langer told the Sunday Times he had discussed moving into politics with former Prime Minister John Howard.
He asked me whether I had considered a path in politics, and I said, now that you've planted the seed, I'll give it some thought.
And that was that. Quotes from 2010 to back up a story in 2022, along with a picture of Howard and Langer. Now, if you reckon that sounds pretty thin, you're right. And by Sunday evening, the paper wasn't so much backtracking on its scoop, it was killing it off under the headline.
Justin Langer responds to speculation he's being recruited to lead Liberal Party.
And what was Langer's response?
I have no idea where it is coming from.
Oh dear, it seems Operation Get Langer was so secret, Not even Langer knew about it. But what about those quotes in the original story from Liberal insiders saying there have been several approaches to Justin? Well, he hit that for a 6 too.
I have had no approaches from anyone in the last few years.
Now, the paper says it did ask Langer for comment, but when it hadn't heard back, they published their front page exclusive anyway, only to reveal 12 hours later that it wasn't correct. I mean, you wouldn't want the facts to get in the way of a good story, would you? And finally, to more breaking celebrity news, this time courtesy of the ABC.
Tourism operators are hoping for a boost as one of the world's most high-profile couples calls far north Queensland home, for a little while at least. Reality star Kim Kardashian has joined her partner Pete Davidson down under.
Yes, one of the most famous women on the planet has dropped into Cairns. And Auntie had the scoop, straight from the cafe manager who'd served the pair breakfast, with Matt Black telling the local ABC in great detail.
They've sort of come up, sort of chasing a table, trying to have a little look at the menu, and then they said that we have space and room for a couple of private guests, hoping to take over the inside. We were just like, all right, cool, whoever it is, it could be anyone. And yeah, sure enough, it was Kimmy K and bloody Pete Davidson.
Sure enough. And after agreeing to part with his phone, Matt got his own Hollywood moment.
Took them to the menu and just asked them what they were doing, if they were travelling around, if they were doing all the touristy stuff, what they had planned, and they were super chill.
With their global scoop, radio producers blasted the news on the ABC website with photos of the loved-up couple sunning it up. And come Friday, breakfast TV was also tucking in.
Kim Kardashian and her boyfriend Pete Davidson have been spotted up in Cairns, dining at cafes, even shopping at Edge Hill.
Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson have been spotted. Whereabouts, Pete?
Up in Cairns.
After all, the Instagram snaps are in Cairns, right?
These shots aren't from Cairns.
Yeah, these ones are taken in the Cairns area.
Which is funny because a few days earlier, the gossip rags were reporting on the same pictures, but from somewhere very different.
Live from Tahiti, it's Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson.
Yes, the shots weren't in Cairns at all, but 7,000 kilometres away. So what about the cafe sighting? Even the Daily Mail could smell a rat, with a source for Kim apparently saying the mogul hadn't been in Australia in years, and Pete's people confirming he's down under without Kim. And what of the cafe manager? Well, he was basking in the attention on social media on Friday, but by early evening he was coming clean to a local news site.
Exclusive. Joke that backfired. Cairns cafe manager reveals how a tale about hosting A-listers went global. I'm a larrikin. I stir stuff up on social media. I thought people were going to call me out.
Instead, the ABC fell for it, hook, line and sinker. But to its credit, the ABC was saying sorry for the whole hoax by Friday evening, telling listeners...
This report, we have subsequently found out, was incorrect and the ABC apologises and we're correcting the story.
It's yet another embarrassing reminder to supposedly credible news outlets to check their sources. And as we've learned, celebrity gossip can be a very dangerous area for media. And that's all from us for tonight. There's more on our website where you can stream the program and read transcripts. And don't forget, Media Bites every Thursday. But for now, goodbye.